Trump demands unconditional surrender from Iran. Last time America said this was World War II. March 6, 2026. The White House press room goes dead silent. A reporter asks Donald Trump if America is open to negotiations with Iran. Trump leans into the microphone, looks directly at the camera, and says 4 words that stunned the entire world. Unconditional surrender, that's it. The last time an American president used those exact words was 1945. Franklin D. Roosevelt demanded unconditional surrender from Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Both countries were bombed into submission. Both regimes collapsed. Both were occupied by American forces. That was 81 years ago. Today, Trump just said the same thing about Iran. The world did not see this coming. Iran did not see this coming. And if you think this is just another Trump soundbite, stay with me, because what's actually happening on the ground right now is far more terrifying than a tweet. Welcome to our channel where we break down real wars, real weapons, and real consequences. No politics, no noise, just facts. In this video, you're going to get 3 things. First, what exactly Trump said, word for word, and what it means legally and militarily. Second, what Iran said back, and whether they can actually hold their ground. Third, why military analysts are calling this the single most dangerous escalation since the Cuban Missile Crisis. If you're new here, hit subscribe right now. We drop war updates that mainstream media won't fully explain. Hit the bell too. You do not want to miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. To understand why Trump's words hit like a shockwave, you need to know what's already happened in the last 8 days. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, the largest coordinated air campaign since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. B-52 bombers, B-2 stealth aircraft, F-35s, and carrier-based strike jets simultaneously hit over 1,700 Iranian military targets in 72 hours, nuclear research sites, ballistic missile factories, IRGC command centers. The operation was precise, overwhelming, and absolutely unprecedented. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed in the first wave. 49 senior Iranian commanders were eliminated alongside him. The Pentagon confirmed that half of Iran's entire ballistic missile stockpile had been destroyed in the opening salvo. Iran did not sit still. By day 4, March 3rd, Iran launched approximately 1,500 drones and missiles across 7 countries: Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, Iraq, Oman. The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh was struck. A U.S. base in Bahrain was targeted. Amazon data centers in the UAE went dark. The Strait of Hormuz, the gateway for 20% of the world's oil, was effectively shut down. 6 American service members were killed. 18 more were seriously wounded. That was the context. Now here's what happened on March 6th that changed everything. On March 6th, 2026, Day 7 of the war, Donald Trump walked into a press conference, and reporters immediately asked whether the United States was open to ceasefire talks. Trump's answer was blunt, unambiguous, and historic. There will be no deal with Iran, Trump said, except unconditional surrender. Reuters, March 6, 2026. He didn't stop there. Politico reported that Trump then referenced WWII directly, saying that just as FDR and Truman accepted nothing less than total capitulation from Germany and Japan, America would accept nothing less from Iran. Politico, March 6, 2026. Think about what that means. Unconditional surrender is not a ceasefire. It is not a negotiation. It is not a pause. Unconditional surrender means the enemy lays down every weapon, dissolves its military command, hands over all leadership, and submits to the victor's full authority. Germany signed it in a French schoolhouse on May 7, 1945. Japan signed it on the deck of the USS Missouri on September 2, 1945. Both countries were then occupied for years. Trump was essentially telling Iran, your military collapses, your government dissolves, your leaders surrender, or the bombing does not stop. Now here's where it gets even more explosive. On the same day, NBC News reported that Trump officials were actively considering arming Kurdish opposition groups inside Iran, essentially funding and equipping an internal uprising against the Iranian government. NBC News, March 6, 2026. The Wall Street Journal confirmed Trump was open to supporting armed militias in Iran. WSJ, March 6, 2026. And Reuters reported Trump had directly urged Iranian Kurds to rise up and attack the regime from within. Reuters, March 6, 2026. This is no longer just airstrikes. This is regime change, total and complete. Iran's response came fast, and it was defiant. Al Jazeera's live blog reported that Iranian officials flatly rejected Trump's demand, calling it delusional and colonial. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, the same man who told NBC News last week that Iran was ready to disgrace U.S. troops in a ground invasion, said Iran would never surrender. Never, under no condition, to no one. Al Jazeera, March 6, 2026. But here's the brutal reality behind that defiance. The same day Iran was talking tough, CBS News and Al Jazeera were reporting that Iranian ballistic missile launches had dropped by 90% since day one of the war. Drone attacks were down 83%. Over 30 Iranian warships had been destroyed. The IRGC drone carrier ship Shahid Bagheri had been sunk. Iran was firing cluster bombs, a desperate, indiscriminate weapon, because it was running out of precision missiles. Iran was loudest when it was weakest. Meanwhile, The Guardian reported something that sent chills through every Western intelligence office. Russia was secretly providing Iran with real-time intelligence on U.S. military positions across the Gulf. Washington Post, March 6, 2026. This was no longer Iran versus America. Russia had quietly entered the shadows. And then 50 Israeli F-35s and F-15s obliterated what was left of Khamenei's underground command bunker beneath Tehran. Sky News aired footage of the strike. South China Morning Post confirmed it. Sky News, SCMP, March 6, 2026. Before we go further, if this level of breakdown is what you need, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Subscribe to Battle Sphere. Tell me in the comments below, should Trump accept any deal short of full surrender? Drop your answer right now. I read every single one. Trump's forewords didn't just stun diplomats. They moved markets, shifted alliances, and redrew the entire map of Middle East politics in one afternoon. On the economic front, oil prices had already jumped 30% since the war began, reaching roughly $100 per barrel for the first time since 2022. With Trump ruling out any negotiations, traders immediately began pricing in a longer war. Brent crude rose another $8 in after-hours trading. The Financial Post reported that global supply chain disruptions were already costing multinationals hundreds of millions per week. Over 150 oil tankers were stranded near the Strait of Hormuz, with no clear date to move. Politically, the world fractured. Spain's prime minister publicly declared no to war, directly criticizing Trump. Good Morning America, March 6, 2026. The Guardian reported that French and German diplomats were scrambling, calling Trump's surrender demand a dangerous red line. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian separately told reporters that several unnamed countries had already begun ceasefire mediation, but Trump's statement had effectively killed those efforts before they started. Iran Wire, March 6, 2026. Inside the U.S., the House of Representatives was preparing to vote on a war powers resolution to constrain Trump's authority. The Senate had already rejected a similar measure 53-47. AP News, March 6, 2026. And in the shadows, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed that American firepower over Iran was about to surge dramatically. Defense One, March 6, 2026. The phrase "unconditional surrender" had just become a declaration of total war. Behind every headline is a body count, and this one is staggering. The Iranian Red Crescent confirmed over 787 civilians and military personnel killed inside Iran from U.S. and Israeli strikes. That number is almost certainly an undercount. The Pentagon confirmed 6 American service members killed in action and 18 seriously wounded across the Gulf theater. Israel reported 11 civilian deaths from Iranian drone and missile strikes. The UAE confirmed 3 dead after ballistic missiles struck infrastructure near Abu Dhabi. Kuwait reported 1 fatality. Iranian senior official Ali Larijani separately claimed over 500 U.S. soldiers had been hit or injured, a figure the Pentagon has not confirmed. In Lebanon, tens of thousands of civilians had been displaced as Israel expanded its ground incursion into the south. The UN estimated that 400,000 people across the region had fled their homes in under a week. This was no longer a war between governments. Ordinary people on every side were paying the price. So where does this go from here? 3 scenarios, all of them serious. Scenario 1, the best case. Iran's government collapses faster than expected. A moderate or Western-backed figure steps in as interim leader. Mediation by Turkey, Qatar, or India produces a framework within 3 to 4 weeks. Airstrikes pause. Oil prices drop back to $80. This is possible, but it requires Iran to break internally, which has not happened yet. Scenario 2, the most likely case. Trump's unconditional surrender demand hardens Iran's domestic resolve. The war continues for 8 to 12 weeks. Iranian proxies, Hezbollah, Houthis, Iraqi militias escalate attacks across the region. Oil stays near $100 per barrel. Russia continues feeding Iran intelligence. The U.S. takes more casualties. Congress Eve. And Thule forces a political resolution. Scenario 3, the worst case. Russia's intelligence sharing is exposed publicly, triggering a direct U.S.-Russia confrontation. Iran fires its remaining Imad or Ghadar missiles at Israel's Dimona nuclear facility. Israel retaliates with its own nuclear threshold. We are in territory no one has mapped before. Military analysts cited by Brookings and ISW are currently placing the war between scenarios 2 and 3. Here's what you need to take away from today. Trump demanded Iran's unconditional surrender on March 6th, the first time any U.S. president has used those exact words since World War II. Iran rejected it completely. Russia is secretly feeding Iran intelligence on U.S. positions. Israel hit Khamenei's underground bunker with 50 jets. Iran's missile capability has fallen 90%, but the war is far from over. And America's defense secretary just confirmed that firepower over Iran is about to get dramatically bigger. This is not winding down, this is winding up. If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening, hit that like button. Subscribe to Battlesphere for daily war updates no one else is covering at this level. And drop your answer below. Can Iran actually survive an unconditional surrender demand? Or is this war already over?